All right, today I'm going to read Numbers 5 to 7 and also Psalms 41, or the one story that leads to Jesus' Bible reading plan. Sin payments, disturbing water rituals, long haired vows. In today's reading, four strange laws interrupt the story of Israel's travel preparations. These laws seem pretty random, but they echo a pattern of water and judgment established in Genesis 1 9. Just as God sent Adam and Eve away from Eden after their failure brought about death, now all Israelites displaying symbols of death must leave the camp. And just as waters from the flood brought judgment after corrupted sexual practices, now God will use water as a means of judgment for adultery. This hyperlink to the flood narrative reminds the Israelites that faithfulness allows a person to pass through the waters of judgment, just as Noah did. In its historical context, the trial of bitter water actually protected innocent women from false accusations by leaving judgment to God. I think I might be sick. My nose is runny. Notice the ways the Genesis 1 to 9 pattern is remixed in Numbers. Unlike Adam and Eve's exile from Eden, the exile from Israel's camp is temporary. And where Adam and Eve blamed each other for their rebellion, God teaches Israel to instead confess and make right any harm they have caused. In Genesis, Noah abuses alcohol when the judgment waters subside. But here, the Nazarites abstain from alcohol altogether. The author appears to be using these four laws, creatively wording them to link to the Genesis stories to illuminate Israel's true calling. They are to succeed where their ancestors failed. Will this be the generation that finally chooses faithfulness? Meditate on the laws about making restitution for sin in Numbers 5 to 10. What do these commandments tell you about how sin damages relationships? What needs to happen for this relational damage to be restored? What echoes of Eden do you notice in the priestly blessings in Numbers 6:22 to 27? Oh, wait, I'm on Numbers 5 here. Did I read this? Oh, wait, no, I'm good. I'll read it after. The purity of the camp. Uh, the Lord said to Moses, command the Israelites to send away from the camp anyone who has a defiling skin disease or a discharge of any kind, or who is ceremonially unclean because of a dead body. Send away male and female alike. Send them outside the camp so they will not defile their camp, where I dwell among them. The Israelites did so. They sent them outside the camp. They did just as the Lord had instructed Moses. Restitution for wrongs. The Lord said to Moses, say to the Israelites, any man or woman who wrongs another in any way and so is unfaithful to the Lord is guilty and must confess the sin they have committed. They must make full restitution for the wrong they have done, add a fifth of the value to it, and all give it all to the person they have wronged. But if that person has no relative to whom restitution can be made for the wrong, the restitution belongs to the Lord and must be given to the priest, along with the ram with which atonement is made for the wrongdoer. All the sacred contributions the Israelites bring to the priest will belong to him. Sacred things belong to their owners, but What they give to the priests will belong to the priests. The test of an unfaithful wife. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, if a man's wife goes astray and is unfaithful to him, so that another man has sexual relations with her, and this is hidden from her husband, and her impurity is undetected, since there is no witness against her, and she has not been caught in the act, and if feelings of jealousy come over the husband, and he suspects his wife, and she is impure, or if he is jealous and suspects her even though she is not impure, then he is to take his wife to the priest. He must also take an offering of a tenth of an ephah of barley flour on her behalf. He must not pour olive oil on it or put incense on it, because it is a grain offering for jealousy, a reminder offering to draw attention to wrongdoing. The priests shall bring her and have her stand before the Lord. Then they shall take some holy water in a clay jar and put some dust from the tabernacle floor into the water. After the priest has had the woman stand before the Lord, he shall loosen her hair and place in her hands the reminder offering, the grain offering for jealousy, while he himself holds the bitter water that brings a curse. Then the priest shall put the woman under oath and say to her, if no other man has had sexual relations with you, and you have not gone astray and become impure while married to your husband, may this bitter water that brings a curse not harm you. But if you have gone astray while married to your husband and you have made yourself impure by having sexual relations with a man other than your husband, here the priest is to put the woman under this curse. May the Lord cause you to become a curse among your people when he makes your womb miscarry and your abdomen swell. May this water bring a curse enter your body so that your abdomen swells or your womb miscarries. Then the woman is to say, Amen, so be it. The priest is to write these curses on a scroll and then wash them off into the bitter water. He shall make the woman drink the bitter water that brings a curse, and this water that brings a curse and causes bitter suffering will enter her. The priest is to take from her hands the grain offering for jealousy, wave it before the Lord, and bring it to the altar. The priest is then to take a handful of grain offering as a memorial offering and burn it on the altar. After that, he is to have the woman drink the water. If she has made herself impure and been unfaithful to her husband, this will be the result. When she is made to drink the water that brings a curse that causes bitter suffering, it will enter her abdomen, and will swell, and her womb will miscarry, and she will become a curse. If, however, the woman has not made herself impure, but is clean, she will be cleared of guilt and will be able to have children. This, then, is the law of jealousy when a woman goes astray and makes herself impure while married to her husband, or when feelings of jealousy come over a man because he suspects his wife. The priest is to have her stand before the Lord and is to apply the entire law to her. The husband will be innocent of any wrongdoing, but the woman will bear the consequence of her sin. The Nazarite. The Lord said to Moses, speak to the Israelites. Oh, actually, before I get to Numbers 6, I have the section to read. What is the meaning behind the test for an unfaithful wife? The test for an unfaithful wife, as recorded in Numbers 5:11-31, may seem strange to our modern senses. A grain offering, holy water laced with dust from the tabernacle floor, a swelling abdomen, and a wasting thigh. What does this all mean? Like many lessons in the Bible, it is important to focus on the meaning behind the symbols and actions. The swelling abdomen and wasting thigh are not random physical ailments, but allude to miscarriage and infertility, painful experiences for women both now and then. During the during ancient times, a woman's worth greatly depended on her ability to bear children, so infertility was a severe punishment. Though readers may be distracted by the grain offering and the floor dust, there are secondary details. The primary point of the test was to determine whether or not the wife has been unfaithful. The complexity of the ritual indicates the importance God places on faithfulness in marriage and the protection and dedication marriage deserves. The test promoted unity in marriage by protecting an innocent wife from false accusations and potential harm, and by exposing an unfaithful wife and protecting her husband. Although no test existed for an adulterous husband, primarily because men didn't need the same protection against potential violence and false accusations as women did, the penalty for adultery was the same for both men and women: death. When we look beyond the test's odd details, we see not only the true wisdom it conveys, but also God's desire to protect marriages and ensure that justice is administered fairly. Cool. All right. Numbers chapter 6. The Nazarite. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, if a man or a woman wants to make a special vow, a vow of dedication to the Lord as a Nazarite, they must abstain from wine and other fermented drink, and must not drink vinegar made from wine or other fermented drink. They must not drink grape juice or eat grapes or raisins, as long as they remain under their Nazarite vow. They must not eat anything that comes from the grapevine, not even the seeds or skins. During the entire period of their Nazarite vow, no razor may be used on their head. They must be holy until the period of their dedication to the Lord is over. They must let their hair grow long. Throughout the period of dedication to the Lord, the Nazarite must not go near a dead body. Even if their own father or mother or brother or sister dies, they must not make themselves ceremonially unclean on account of them, because the symbol of their dedication to God is on their head. Throughout the period of their dedication, they are consecrated to the Lord. If someone dies suddenly in the Nazarite's presence, thus defiling the hair that symbolizes their dedication, they must shave their head on the seventh day, the day of their cleansing. Then on the eighth day, they must bring 2 doves or 2 young pigeons to the priest at the entrance to the tent of meeting. The priest is to offer one of a sin offering and the other as a burnt offering to make atonement for the Nazarite, because they sinned by being in the presence of the dead body. That same day, they are to consecrate their head again. They must rededicate themselves to the Lord for the same period of dedication and must bring a year-old male lamb as a guilt offering. The previous days do not count because they became defiled during their period of dedication. Now, this is the law of the Nazarite when the period of their dedication is over. They are to be brought to the entrance to the tent of meeting. There they are to present their offering to the Lord: a young old male lamb without defect for a burnt offering, a young old ewe lamb without defect for a sin offering, a ram without defect for a fellowship offering, together with their grain offerings and drink offerings, and a basket of bread made with the finest flour and without yeast, thick loaves with olive oil mixed in, and thin loaves brushed with olive oil. The priest is to present all these before the Lord and make the sin offering and the burnt offering. He is to present the basket of unleavened bread and is to sacrifice the ram as a fellowship offering to the Lord, together with its grain offering and drink offering. Then, at the entrance of the tent of meeting, the Nazarite must shave off the hair that symbolizes their dedication. They are to take the hair and put it in the fire that is under the sacrifice of the fellowship offering. The Nazarite has shaved off the hair that symbolizes their dedication. The priest is to place their hands, a boiled shoulder of the ram, and one thick loaf and one thin loaf from the basket, both made without yeast. The priest shall then wave these before the Lord as a wave offering. They are holy and belong to the priest, together with the breast that was waved and the thigh that was presented. After that, the Nazarite may drink wine. This is the law of the Nazarite who vows offerings to the Lord in accordance with their dedication, in addition to whatever else they can afford. They must fulfill the vows they have made, according to the law of the Nazarite. The priestly blessing. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell Aaron and his sons, this is how you are blessed. This is how you are to bless the Israelites. Say to them, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace." So they will put my name on the Israelites, and I will bless them. Guess we're moving on to Numbers 7. The offerings at the dedication of the tabernacle. When Moses finished setting up the tabernacle, he anointed and consecrated it and all its furnishings. He also anointed and consecrated the altar and all its utensils. Then the leader of Israel, the head of families, who were the tribal leaders in charge of those who were counted, made offerings. They brought as their gifts before the Lord 6 covered carts and 12 oxen, an ox from each leader, and a cart from every 2. These they presented before the tabernacle. The Lord said to Moses, "Accept these from them, that they may be used in the work at the tent of meeting. Give them to the Levites as each man's work requires." So Moses took the carts and oxen and gave them to the Levites. He gave 2 carts and 4 oxen to the Gershonites as their work required, and he gave 4 carts and 8 oxen to the Merarites as their work required. They were all under the direction of Ithamar, son of Aaron, the priest. But Moses did not give any to the Kohathites, because they were to carry on their shoulders the holy things for which they were responsible. While the altar was anointed, the leaders brought their offerings for its dedication and presented them before the altar. For the Lord had said to Moses, "Each day one leader is to bring his offering for the dedication of the altar." The one who brought his offering on the first day was Nahshon, son of Amminadab of the tribe of Judah. His offering was 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels and 1 silver sprinkling bowl weighing 70 shekels, both according to the sanctuary shekel, each filled with the finest flour mixed with olive oil as a grain offering. 1 gold dish weighing 10 shekels filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 male lamb a year old for a burnt offering, 1 male goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs, a year old to be sacrificed as a fellowship offering. This was the offering of Nahshon, son of Amminadab. On the second day, Nathanael, son of Zuar, the leader of Issachar, brought his offering. The offering he brought was 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, and 1 silver sprinkling bowl weighing 70 shekels, both according to the sanctuary shekel, each filled with the finest flour mixed with olive oil as a grain offering. 1 gold dish weighing 10 shekels, filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 male lamb, a year old for a burnt offering, 1 male goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs, a year old to be sacrificed as a fellowship offering. This was the offering of Nathanael, son of Zuar. On the third day, Eliab, son of Helon, the leader of the people of Zebulun, brought his offering. His offering was 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, and 1 silver sprinkling bowl weighing 70 shekels, both according to the sanctuary shekel, each filled with the finest flour mixed with olive oil as a grain offering, 1 gold dish weighing 10 shekels, filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 male lamb a year old for a burnt offering, 1 male goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs a year old to be sacrificed as a fellowship offering. This was the offering of Eliab, son of Helon. On the fourth day, Eleazar, son of Shedeur, the leader of the people of Ruben, brought his offering. His offering was 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, and 1 silver sprinkling bowl weighing 70 shekels, both according to the sanctuary shekel, each filled with the finest flour mixed with olive oil as a grain offering, 1 gold dish weighing 10 shekels, filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 1 male lamb a year old for a burnt offering, 1 male goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs a year old to be sacrificed as a fellowship offering. This was the offering of Eleazar, son of Shedeur. On the fifth day, Shemiel, son of Zurishaddai, the leader of the people of Simeon, brought his offering. How many of these are there? Oh, geez. His offering was 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, and 1 silver sprinkling bowl weighing 70 shekels, both according to the sanctuary shekel, each filled with the finest flour mixed with olive oil as a grain offering, 1 gold dish weighing 10 shekels, filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and a male lamb a year old for a burnt offering, 1 male goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs a year old to be sacrificed as a fellowship offering. This was the offering of Shemuel, son of Zurishaddai. On the sixth day, Elisaph, son of Deuel, the leader of the people of Gad, brought his offering. All right, there are so many of these, and they're all in the same format. It's okay. So I'm just going to read because they're kind of the same offering. There's differences in each, but the differences are kind of minor. So I'll just read the top portion. So I read that one, and now I'm on Verse 48. On the seventh day, Elishama, son of Amidhad, the leader of the people of Ephraim, brought his offering. And so there's the offering. It's very similar to the other offerings with minor differences. And we get the idea. On the eighth day, Gamaliel, son of Padazur, the leader of the people of Manasseh, brought his offering, and so forth. On the ninth day, Abidan, son of Gideoni, the leader of the people of Benjamin, brought his offering, and so forth. On the 10th day, Ahiezer, son of Amishhaddai, the leader of the people of Dan, brought his offering. On the 11th day, Pagiel, the son of Ochran, the leader of the people of Asher, brought his offering. On the 12th day, Asherah, son of Enan, the leader of the people of Naphtali, brought his offering. All right, these were the offerings of the Israelite leaders for the dedication of the altar when it was anointed. 12 silver plates, 12 silver sprinkling bowls, and 12 gold dishes. Each silver plate weighed 130 shekels, and each sprinkling bowl 70 shekels. Altogether, the silver dishes weighed 2,400 shekels, according to the sanctuary shekel. The 12 gold dishes filled with incense weighed 10 shekels each, according to the sanctuary shekel. Altogether, the gold dishes weighed 120 shekels. The total number of animals for the burnt offering came to 12 young bulls, 12 rams, and 12 male lambs a year old. Together with their grain offering, 12 male goats were used for the sin offering. The total number of animals for the sacrifice of the fellowship offering came to 24 oxen, 60 rams, 60 male goats, and 60 male lambs a year old. These were the offerings for the dedication of the altar after it was anointed. When Moses entered the tent of meeting to speak with the Lord, he heard the voice speaking to him from between the two cherubim above the atonement cover on the ark of the covenant law. In this way, the Lord spoke to him. All right, moving on to Psalms 41. All right. Psalms 41 for the director of music, a psalm of David. Blessed are those who have regard for the weak. The Lord delivers them in times of trouble. The Lord protects and preserves them. They are counted among the blessed in the land. He does not give them over to the desire of their foes. The Lord sustains them on their sick bed and restores them from their bed of illness. I said, have mercy on me, Lord, heal me, for I have sinned against you. My enemies say to me in malice, when will he die and his name perish? When one of them comes to see me, he speaks falsely, while his heart gathers slander. Then he goes out and spreads it around. All my enemies whisper together against me. They imagine the worst for me, saying, a vile disease has afflicted him. He will never get up from the place where he lies. Even my close friend, someone I trusted, one who shared my bread, has turned against me. But may you have mercy on me, Lord. Raise me up, that I may repay them. I know that you are pleased with me, for my enemy does not triumph over me. Because of my integrity, you uphold me and set me in your presence forever. Praise be the Lord, the God of Israel, for from everlasting to everlasting. Amen and amen. All right, that's it for day 41 of the plan. Cheers.